unvaccinated people do happen. The CDC estimates about 35,000 per week among 162 million people in the U.S. who are vaccinated. Now, the agency released a case study today on the major outbreak we've been hearing about in Provincetown, Massachusetts, that began around July 4th, where among 469 cases in Massachusetts, 74% were fully vaccinated. CDC Director Dr. Rochelle Walensky saying the findings from Provincetown were a pivotal reason behind the updated mask guidance this week, that even fully vaccinated people, if infected, can carry high viral loads and potentially be contagious. But that report concluding perhaps the guidance didn't go far enough, suggesting that even areas without substantial or high transmission might consider expanding their prevention strategies, including masking in indoor settings regardless of vaccination status.
So the NBA says about 90% of players are currently vaccinated, but some star players are drawing attention right now for their stance on not taking the vaccine. So what did you think when you heard some of the reasons why current players, stars like Bradley Beal and Andrew Wiggins this week, don't want to get vaccinated?
I thought it was very irresponsible. It sounded to me like they have not made any attempt to inform themselves on what's going on.
With you being the leader of this team and whatever the NBA mandates and guidelines are going to come back, do you feel any pressure to be vaccinated, to be available for your team? And the second part, is there any scenario in your mind in which you do plan on maybe getting vaccinated?
One, I don't feel pressure. I don't think you can pressure anybody to making a decision about their body or what they put into their body. And I mean, we can have this conversation about a lot of different topics besides vaccines too. But yeah, you can't necessarily force anybody or, kind of, say it's time for a vaccine. I think you kind of let people come into their own about it. They do their research when they feel comfortable. They do it. I definitely think about it for sure. I mean, with the guidelines that the league makes and everything that the protocols are doing, they kind of make it difficult on us to where they kind of force us in a way to want to get it. But, at the end of the day, I talk it over with my family and we make a decision that we think is best for us, just like the rest of the world.
It's, after press conferences last year, you always encouraged people to mask up, and it seemed like you took COVID very seriously. Mm-hmm. So, people would say that to take COVID seriously, but just get the vaccine. I know it's a personal decision and all, but are you surprised that the way, I guess, what's like the justification there, or like how do you kind of manage that, like still taking COVID seriously, but just not getting the vaccine? And then also this idea of like with NBA players, I don't know if you read the Rolling Stones article over the weekend, but that there seems to be like, for lack of a better word, an anti-vax herd among NBA players.
I don't give a damn about the herd or whatever it is. Every player, every person in this world is going to make their own decision for themselves. I would like an explanation to, people with vaccines. Why are they still getting COVID? If that's something that we are supposed to highly be protected from. Like, it's funny that, it reduces your chances of going to the hospital. It doesn't eliminate anybody from getting COVID, right? So is everybody in here vaxxed? I would assume, right? So you all can still get COVID, right?
We're less likely to die or go to the hospital.
Okay, but you can still get COVID, right? So, and you can still pass it along with the vax, right?
So
I'm just asking the question.
Oh, sure. And so, like, having COVID back around the Olympics, like that, basically just saying, like, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but having it change your opinion one way or another, like, did it kind of re-emphasize I don't need the vaccine because of that?
No, that wasn't the case. I mean, yeah, I had it, but that doesn't mean I can't get it again, I mean, it's no different than somebody with a vaccine. Like, yes, I developed the antibodies for it, so my chances will be less likely now as well, right? But it's still a possibility I may get it. Just like there are players and coaches and staff who are vaxxed and missing camp right now because of it. So
I thought it was very irresponsible. It sounded to me like they have not made any attempt to inform themselves on what's going on. It sounded to me like they have not made any attempt to inform themselves on what's going on. It sounded to me like they have not made any attempt to inform themselves on what's going on. It sounded to me like they have not made any attempt to inform themselves on what's going on.
Two things that gets on my damn nerves about this. Privacy, and I need to do my research. Really? How long has COVID existed?
It's been a minute.
It's been a minute.
It's been 2 years.
What
2 years in
what
February.
What the hell do you mean? What have you been doing? If research is that important to you, you had the season stopped March 11th last year because of COVID. Restarted in January. That's 4 months. That's 4 months right there. This is before the vaccine came down. But you had 4 months to do some research. Then after that, there was bubble play from late July to October. Then you had 2 more months before last season happened. And then you had last season that went from December to July. You play basketball for a living. How much time do you need to research? You play basketball for a living. How much time do you need to research? You play basketball for a living. How much time do you need to research? You play basketball for a living. How much time do you need to research?
I thought it was very irresponsible. It sounded to me like they have not made any attempt to inform themselves on what's going on. It sounded to me like they have not made any attempt to inform themselves on what's going on. It sounded to me like they have not made any attempt to inform themselves on what's going on. It sounded to me like they have not made any attempt to inform themselves on what's going on.
I don't give a damn about the herd or whatever it is. Every player, every person in this world is going to make their own decision for themselves. I would like an explanation to, people with vaccines. Why are they still getting COVID? If that's something that we are supposed to highly be protected from. Like, it's funny that, it reduces your chances of going to the hospital. It doesn't eliminate anybody from getting COVID. It doesn't eliminate anybody from getting COVID. It doesn't eliminate anybody from getting COVID. It doesn't eliminate anybody from getting COVID.
I took that question to Dr. Mano Patri, an infectious disease physician at SSM Lake St. Louis Hospital.
The objective of a vaccine is to prevent prevention of severe illness, hospitalization, and death.
Cases in vaccinated people do happen. The CDC estimates about 35,000 per week among 162 million people in the U.S. who are vaccinated. Now, the agency released a case study today on the major outbreak we've been hearing about in Provincetown, Massachusetts, that began around July 4th, where among 469 cases in Massachusetts, 74% were fully vaccinated. Where among 469 cases in Massachusetts, 74% were fully vaccinated. Where among 469 cases in Massachusetts, 74% were fully vaccinated. Where among 469 cases in Massachusetts, 74% were fully vaccinated.
I don't give a damn about the herd or whatever it is. Every player, every person in this world is going to make their own decision for themselves. I would like an explanation to, people with vaccines. Why are they still getting COVID? If that's something that we are supposed to highly be protected from. Like, it's funny that, it reduces your chances of going to the hospital. It doesn't eliminate anybody from getting COVID, right? So is everybody in here vaxxed? I would assume, right? So you all can still get COVID, right?
We're less likely to die or go to the hospital.
Okay, but you can still get COVID, but you can still get COVID, but you can still get COVID, but you can still get COVID.
Did Cam's vaccination status have anything to do with him being released?
No.
No, I mean, look, you guys keep talking about that, and I would just point out that I don't know what the number is. I mean, you guys can look it up. You have the access to a lot of information, but the number of players and coaches and staff members that have, been infected by COVID in this training camp who have been vaccinated is a pretty high number. So I wouldn't lose sight of that. I wouldn't lose sight of that. I wouldn't lose sight of that. I wouldn't lose sight of that.
Then you got these guys with the privacy thing. Well, listen to this. I agree with that. I'm not disagreeing with that. I don't have a right to look at your medical records and see your medical history. No, I'm not saying that. But if you can contaminate me with COVID,
I need to know.
I do have a right to know.
Fair point.
If you vaccinated or not. I got a right to know that.
Vikings quarterback Kirk Cousins is not a fan of wearing a mask. Listen to what Cousins said on Spotify's 10 Questions podcast, which is hosted by the NFL Network's Kyle Brandt.
If 1 is the person who says masks are stupid, you are all a bunch of lemmings, and 10 is I'm not leaving my master bathroom for the next 10 years, where do you land?
I'm not going to call anybody stupid for the trouble it could get me in, but I'm about a 0.000001. Yeah.
Really? How come?
Yeah, I just again, I want to respect what other people's concerns are, but for me personally, if you're just talking, no one else can get the virus. What is your concern if you could get it? I would say I'm going to go about my daily life. If I get it, I'm going to ride it out. I'm going to let nature do its course. Survival of the fittest kind of an approach, and just say, if it knocks me out, it knocks me out. I'm going to be okay. Even if I die, I die. I kind of have peace about that.
Kirk Cousins and why he is not getting the COVID vaccine. The quarterback is back on the field at Vikings training camp after being put on the COVID reserve list because of possible exposure to COVID-19. At this press conference yesterday, Cousins was pressed about whether he was vaccinated against COVID. He never directly answered that question. He called his vaccination status private.
I think the vaccination decision is a private, very private health matter for me, and I'm going to keep it as such. I do believe that as a leader of the team, it's very important to follow the protocols to avoid this close contact.
I thought it was very irresponsible. It sounded to me like they have not made any attempt to inform themselves on what's going on. It sounded to me like they have not made any attempt to inform themselves on what's going on. It sounded to me like they have not made any attempt to inform themselves on what's going on. It sounded to me like they have not made any attempt to inform themselves on what's going on.
NBA legend Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is calling out vaccine deniers. He's writing about it in a Substack, and he quoted in this article in Rolling Stone, and we're going to talk about it right now. So, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, thank you so much. Thank you for being here tonight and for doing what you do. Can I just get your reaction to Kyrie Irving's statement?
I can't accept Kyrie Irving's statement. He's hiding behind procedure here. Either you understand what's going on and you're going to do the right thing, or you don't understand what's going on and you're going to continue to create all this confusion with your stance. So, we got to get that cleared up, exactly where he stands and what that means to those around him.
Mm-hmm. A source is telling CNN that approximately 90% of NBA players are vaccinated against COVID-19. You think that the 10% should be let go?
I think they should be disciplined. I don't think that they are behaving like good teammates or good citizens. This is a war that we're involved in, and masks and vaccines, they are the weapons that we use to fight this war. And when you're not going to be cooperative with that, you're working against the effort to make everybody safe. And, we can't have that. That doesn't work for everybody.
What about the folks who say, hey, listen, it's my right, it's my freedom, it's my body, I can do what I want, I shouldn't be told what to do?
Well, that's fine, but they don't have to do that within the framework of the NBA and put other people at risk. That's what we're talking about here, putting other people at risk, not about whether somebody feels macho enough that they're going to go against the COVID virus and not have any vaccination protection. And, I guess maybe it makes them feel brave or, able to do something that others can't do. That's not what we should be doing here. We should be trying to limit this virus with all the tools that we have at our disposal.
I want to play this. This is, see if you remember, this is from LeBron James. Watch this.
And anything that I do off the floor is, predicated to my family, for the majority, for 99.9% of that. So, it's about the health and safety of my family. And that's what it came down to. Me being available to my teammates on the floor is me taking care of my body.
Do you mind me asking if you're confirming that you did get the vaccine?
It's not a big deal.
So listen, we haven't heard from LeBron about that since, but the Lakers general manager did say that all players on the roster will be fully vaccinated for the new season. What would it mean if LeBron were to be more transparent about the vaccine or encourage others to actually get it?
Well, I think it would be helpful if he encouraged others to get it, but he has the right not to do that. You can't force everyone to do what you think is correct. Mm-hmm. So people do have the right not to participate in using the vaccine, but if they're going to do that, they should not put other people at risk because they might become contaminated.
Yeah.
Their children might end up at risk. That's not fair.
I want to listen. I'm going to go a little bit long because I want to ask you one more question, and I think it's important. You've written about this quote: "The dark reality is that those who promote hesitancy and more research have blood on their hands. Worse, the kind of conspiracy theories and pseudoscience pundits spread is the kind of selective science that white people use to justify enslaving black people." Elaborate on that, please, sir.
Well, the more ignorance that is spread around, the easier it is to confuse people about what's happening. So people who disliked Black Americans at one point refused to give them treatment. In this instance, we have people that are trying to confuse the issue and have people not use the available treatment because of who knows what reason. But we can't let that be something that pulls us back. We have to educate ourselves so that we understand what is being offered. These vaccines are safe and they are effective, and we have to fight this virus as a group. We can't have certain people feeling that I don't have to do that. That's insanity.
I think it's important that you point out that they confuse the issue, especially when it comes to the Tuskegee experiment. It's not that they were injecting African Americans with something that was bad for them. They weren't treating them. And the people they did inject with things like penicillin got better.
The other group that is very vaccine hesitant are African Americans. 70% of African Americans have not taken this vaccine. Why? Because they don't trust their government. Do they have reason not to trust their government? Well, between the years of 1930 and 1970, the CDC conducted the Tuskegee experiment, where they took untreated males with syphilis and they refused to treat them. Even after antibiotics became available, they still did not treat them, and they did not tell them that they had syphilis. They told those people that they were there to secure their health, and they did not secure their health. They abused them.